This is in the locker room. This is before the game ended. Before the game ended. She comes out in the locker room and posts this. Like, what are we doing?
Sitting there and I'm thinking to myself, is anybody on this team gonna stand up for Caitlin Clark? JC Sheldon grabbing Caitlin Clark all game, clawing at her. It's like tonight was a brawl, folks. Tonight was a brawl, and I'm sitting there, I'm like, is anybody on this team going to stand up for? And Sophie Cunningham.
What do you get when Sophie Cunningham turns into a one-woman army and decides she's the unofficial bodyguard of Caitlin Clark? Absolute chaos. The court exploded, the Sun locker room shaken, and Sophie, she was handing out smoke like it was a clearance sale. This wasn't just a response. This was Sophie going full superhero mode, making it crystal clear. If you come for Clark, you will deal with her. And trust me, you're not ready for the fire she unleashed. This moment was hotter than one of Angel Reese's viral clapbacks. Buckle up, because Sophie didn't just defend Caitlin, why she ignited a WNBA firestorm.
Let's start with the play that set off the entire night. So as you guys can see here, JC Sheldon is guarding Caitlin Clark. She swipes her in the eyeball. Caitlin Clark nudges her off because JC stays in her face. And then Tina Charles runs over and is kind of wagging her finger in Caitlin Clark's face. And then Marina Mabrey comes out of nowhere and chucks her to the floor. Now let's watch this in slow motion. Here, JC Sheldon is guarding Caitlin, swipes her in the face. There's one. Going for the ball, swipes her in the eyeball. Caitlin's gonna have to start wearing goggles. And then Caitlin pushes her off of her, like, why are you still in my face? Marina Mabrey, bat out of hell, chucks Caitlin Clark.
From the moment Sophie Cunningham stepped on the court, the entire WNBA should have been on high alert, because she didn't clock in to play, she clocked in to protect, and not just anyone. Sophie was on a mission, shadowing Caitlin Clark like a Secret Service agent in a street brawl. Every dirty screen, every cheap shot, blocked, deflected, handled. This wasn't basketball, this was personal, and Sophie made it clear, if you come for Caitlin, you go through her first.
Welcome to WNBA Fight Night, or as some people are saying, WNBA Raw. What a game that was. We had it all. We had basketball, we had fighting, we had blonde on blonde crime. Oh, such an epic. Oh, goodness. But at the end of the day, it resulted in an Indiana Fever W. 88-71, taking care of business.
Forget calling her a teammate. Sophie Cunningham's out here moving like a Secret Service agent with demolition training on the side. You so much as lean into Caitlin Clark? Boom. Sophie materializes like a WWE tag-in, ready to wreck your endorsement deal and rattle your jaw all in one clean motion. Try bumping Clark after the whistle? Congrats. You've just triggered the full force of a certified enforcer who can shoot threes and ruin your night without breaking a sweat.
Let's start here. This is, of course, Sophie and Sheldon going down the floor. Sophie tries to wrap her up, and Sheldon gets to the floor, and all hell breaks loose. And Sophie said, I'm not having it. I'm not having it. We'll go. We'll go. So there's that. That, of course, was all a byproduct of this right here, folks. And I mean, when I tell you social media is setting the WNBA on fire right now, not in a good way, that's the understatement.
Sophie's not out there negotiating, she's handing out sentences. The hardwood becomes her courtroom, and every possession ends with the same ruling: maximum pressure. This isn't just protection, it's full-on domination by proxy. She's perfected the art of the shoulder check that lands right on time, the ice-cold stare that drains confidence, and that try me energy that makes even seasoned vets hesitate before testing the perimeter.
Of course, Marina Mabrey is going to get ejected because that was unwarranted. She literally came out of nowhere and chucked Caitlin Clark. There should be a flagrant one, of course, on JC Sheldon because she swiped her and hit her in the eyeball. Whether it is intentional or not, you can still have a flagrant a flagrant foul called on you, whether you are trying to intentionally hurt somebody or not. But this is what they called, you guys. This is what they called. Caitlin Clark, Marina Mabrey, Tina Charles were assessed with technical fouls on Tuesday. Caitlin, Marina, and Tina Charles. Technical fouls. That's it. Technical fouls. That's it. And JC Sheldon was assessed with a flagrant 1 foul, and no players were ejected.
Sophie Cunningham doesn't wait for the smoke. She smells it coming like she's been lurking in the opponent's group chats all week. The moment tension's in the air, she's already moving. This isn't the player who's here for post-game selfies or friendly shoot-around dap-ups. No hand-holding, no warm-up bonding. Sophie's locked in on one mission: touch Caitlin Clark, and you've just signed up for war. She's the WNBA's human alarm system, always on edge, always on watch. While others are meditating and quoting affirmations, Sophie's scanning the floor like she's running background checks with her eyes. One wrong move near Clark and you better have a trainer on standby. The league's not used to this kind of raw, relentless loyalty, especially when it comes wrapped in full throttle chaos. She doesn't enter games with calm energy. She storms in like she's daring someone to give her a reason to explode. Her presence alone makes sideline reporters glance twice and teammates quietly thank the heavens she's not guarding them. This isn't something you can coach. It's instinct. It's wired in. And the WNBA hasn't seen this kind of ride or die intensity since the old school days when defenders played like nightclub bouncers. But Sophie, she's taken that energy, upgraded it, and put the whole league on notice. Disrespect Caitlin Clark, and you deal with me.
I feel good, and Sophie Cunningham put me out on a high note, folks. I didn't even say, Ben, calm down. Calm down, regroup. I didn't even say that. Let's get straight to the play. Everybody, the plays everybody is talking about. First off, Marina Mabrey body checking Caitlin Clark to the ground. JC Sheldon all over her. Riding her. Pokes Caitlin Clark in the eye. Oh, man. Caitlin Clark needs to start wearing goggles, folks. Caitlin Clark's going to need to start wearing goggles. Bumps up on Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark says, "Get your hands off me." And then here comes Marina Mabrey. Boom! Exploding Caitlin Clark like a safety coming downhill in the NFL. There was no flop there.
The WNBA hasn't seen this kind of fierce, no apologies, ride or die energy in years. Think Dennis Rodman energy, but with a savage edge, a girl boss glow up, and zero tolerance for passive-aggressive nonsense. Cunningham doesn't just join the action. She dives headfirst into the chaos and dares the storm to come at her harder. Now let's be real. Caitlin Clark didn't just enter the league as Rookie of the Month. She entered with a target so massive it might as well have its own area code. Forget being welcomed. From day one, it felt like the entire league was circling her like sharks during feeding hour. Some came to compete, others came carrying old grudges, college beef, or just plain bitterness they decided to dump on the newest face of the WNBA. It wasn't just about challenging her skills, it was about breaking her spirit. But what none of them expected was Sophie Cunningham, locked in, laser focused, watching everything. She wasn't there for brunch or buddy-buddy warm-ups. She was circling above like a hawk that hadn't eaten in days. And the moment anyone tried to take their shot at Caitlin, Sophie was already in the air, ready to strike.
About a minute and a half into recording this reaction earlier, with 1 minute left, and all hell broke loose between JC Sheldon and Sophie Cunningham, and it is very clear the Indiana Fever, some of these girls on this team are finally fed up. Finally fed up. Once again, WNBA, we're not talking about your basketball. We're talking about the WNBA WWE Raw circus that you got going on right now. And we all know this incident with Sophie stems from the incident that was clearly not handled correctly by the WNBA and the referees.
They didn't see it coming. How one woman could redraw the battlefield around her teammate and turn every cheap shot into an invitation for destruction. While Caitlin Clark handled the non-stop media storm and target on her back, Sophie Cunningham became the one chasing down the lightning. Spine of steel, memory like a vault, and zero interest in stat padding. This wasn't about points or highlight reels. This was about making sure Caitlyn didn't have to brace herself every time someone swung an elbow too wide. While the league whispered, plotted, and tried to rattle the rookie, Sophie suited up like she was headed for war. Metaphorical brass knuckles on, energy on full defense mode. The league made one massive mistake. They assumed Caitlyn came alone. She didn't. She came with Sophie. And Sophie's not the kind of bodyguard who walks you to your car and waves goodbye. She's the kind who tears the lot apart, flips the car for good measure, and personally detains anyone who even thought about stepping wrong. Because for every shove Clark takes, Sophie delivers a public service announcement, and oh yeah, it's always caught on camera.
All right, enough is enough. You know, at some point, the line gets crossed too often where something needs to be done and things need to be corrected. And that is certainly the case with the way things around Caitlin Clark are officiated. This is a constant problem now. You know, it is something that since the beginning, I've kind of like backed off on because physical play is a part of sports. You know, going after a superstar and trying to rough them up a little bit to get in their head is a part of sports. But when it crosses the line, the referees need to do their job.
When the Connecticut Sun players tried to get slick with their cheap shots and shady screens, Sophie didn't hesitate. She went straight medieval, no questions, no apologies, just pure basketball vengeance packed into a ponytail and a stare that could freeze time. She didn't flinch. She inserted herself between Caitlyn and danger like she'd been waiting her whole life for this exact moment to go full Terminator. And let's be clear, this wasn't some act. Sophie's not out here performing. She's not trying to impress the crowd or put on a show. She's just genuinely not here for your "we play physical" excuses while your teammates out there trying to rearrange Clark's spine. If you're stepping to Caitlin Clark with even a whiff of bad intentions, Sophie's already in motion, probably setting a screen that's borderline illegal and radiating enough heat to get fined on principle. This isn't just defense anymore. Sophie's playing on a whole new level, active deterrence. You know that moment in a game when someone starts walking toward Caitlyn with that smug, "I'm about to make a point" body language? Yeah. Sophie catches it before the broadcast does, and suddenly that same player's pulling a U-turn back to the bench. Not even sure why. Just instinct, pure survival.
NBA, Kathy Engelberg. Hello, Earth to Kathy Engelberg. Are you gonna step in and do something about this trash that's going on? Players are getting assaulted on the floor. Like, come on, bro, Caitlin Clark could have really got injured right there, y'all. She could have really got injured by these haters, these jealous, hating players. They just jealous and hating, bro. It's just, she didn't even get ejected.
Because once you've been on the receiving end of a Sophie Cunningham stare down mid-game, your whole basketball career starts flashing before your eyes. That's the thing. Sophie doesn't do halfway. She's not pacing herself, she's not counting fouls, and she definitely isn't checking Twitter to see if the fans are mad. She's the WNBA's unspoken sheriff. No clipboard, no whistle, just raw presence, and she's not here to observe. She's here to enforce. Even her own teammates know the protocol. You try to run your mouth, Sophie's already got 6 comebacks loaded, louder and sharper, with more receipts than a tax audit in April. And don't get it twisted, this isn't chaos, it's surgical. She doesn't foul recklessly, she executes. She'll hit you with a perfectly timed collision, flash a smug grin as you hit the floor, and casually help Caitlin Clark walk away like it's just another Tuesday. It's never personal. Sophie just has one mission: protect Caitlin Clark by any means necessary. And maybe, just maybe, redefine the WNBA as a full contact sport with a dental plan.
Please leave this league and let it crumble. Please, this league does not deserve you. All this hate from these black people, all this hate from these lesbians, these people in the media, just go play basketball somewhere else. Your fans will follow you. We will follow you wherever you go. But let this shit crumble and burn to the fucking ground, man. Let the viewership drop below 50%. Let them lose hundreds of millions of dollars again, man. Let them go back into fucking irrelevancy. Nobody giving a damn about none of these players. Just leave.
She's not waiting for approval. She's not checking in with the refs. Sophie Cunningham is handing out full contact consequences. No questions asked. And oh, did the Connecticut Sun feel every bit of it when things started getting tense? When players started circling Caitlin Clark like it was open season? Sophie didn't jog in. She launched herself into the moment like a hawk on triple espresso with a personal vendetta. Forget the warning signs. She was the warning. Red flag, danger zone, final boss energy. You'd think someone on the Sun would have had the common sense to say, hey, maybe don't poke the team that's got a live grenade in a jersey. But no, this wasn't some harmless shove or heat of the moment dust up. This was a full-blown battle cry. And Sophie, she was the general, the front line, and the last person you want standing between you and your goal. And when the chaos cleared and Caitlin Clark was still out there calmly dropping buckets like nothing ever happened, Sophie just stood there, calm, composed, and completely unmoved by the noise, like a gladiator who already knew how the story ends.
Nah, enough's enough, bruh. Enough is enough, bruh. What is going on? WNBA, y'all need to get this under control. This is ridiculous. Marina Mabrey, you just put yourself in the Dejanay Carrington box. You dirty slime ball player, you come and blindside Caitlin Clark. Marina Mabrey assaulted and tried to fight Caitlin Clark today. This is ridiculous. WNBA, Kathy Engelberg, do something. Do y'all want to go back to 55 to 60% of the people not watching shit again? I normally don't cuss in my blogs, but forget that. This was bullshit.
Sophie's not out here looking for approval. She's not chasing headlines or caring if your PR team thinks she's too much. She came to bring order by any means necessary. Call it chaos. She calls it protection. And by now, every team in the WNBA knows the deal. If you even breathe too close to Caitlin Clark, Sophie's already activated, coming in hotter than a Marvel supervillain on a revenge arc. She's not asking for your respect. She's here to snatch your shot, your balance, and maybe your confidence, all in one possession. And that stare she gives afterward, that's gonna follow you through every offseason drill you run. Like a top-tier bodyguard with rage built into her DNA, she senses the shift in energy the moment it happens. Disrespect Clark? Sophie flips the switch to DEFCON 1 instantly. There's a strange beauty in it. You shove Caitlin? Sophie responds with a full contact attitude adjustment you didn't schedule. You try to talk slick during a timeout. She's already at the bench, arms folded, looking at you like the gym teacher who knows you skipped leg day.
Much happened in this game, but first, let's talk about Sophie and JC. All right, JC Sheldon. My goodness, dog. My goodness. Now, honestly, I felt like Sophie might have wanted a piece of JC after the Caitlin Clark and JC kind of scuffle going on, right? Then this happened, okay?
She's not playing by the old team loyalty playbook, which she's writing her own, and it reads more like, cross the line and I'll end your season myself. Even the commentators don't know what to do with it. They try to dress it up as competitive fire, but you can hear it in their voices. They're just relieved she hasn't leapt into the booth and blocked them for talking reckless. This isn't chemistry, this is organized retaliation, with Sophie Cunningham as the CEO of Consequences. And now the fans are starting to catch on. They're not just tuning in to watch Caitlin Clark light it up for 30 points. They're here for the moment Sophie snaps, when she finally unleashes 5 games worth of uncalled fouls into one thunderous response. It's become a spectacle. One moment it's basketball. The next, it's a silent showdown where Sophie locks eyes with an opponent and you just know something's about to go down. She's not just a player, she's a warning sign. You know how certain animals in nature flash bright colors to say, back off or suffer? That's Sophie's expression the second she sniffs out dirty play. And by now, the entire WNBA has learned to read it loud and clear. Mess with Caitlin Clark and you're no longer playing basketball. You're stepping into a survival challenge where Sophie is the fire, the fury, and the final vote.
We see Caitlin Clark on the receiving end of something, and it's not called correctly. In fact, she gets a technical foul after getting poked in the eye and then shoved to the floor, and Marina Mabrey doesn't even get thrown out of the game. It's basically open season on Caitlin Clark, and the special whistle that she supposedly gets goes in the other direction. Flagrantly so. They gotta put it to an end. I mean, she's the most valuable player in the league in the most literal sense. And somehow she gets the opposite of superstar treatment.
She doesn't complain, she handles business. She's not out here filing reports. She's out here ending nonsense before it starts. Forget podcasts, forget cheap shots. Sophie's not here for press tours or post-game banter. She's here to make one thing painfully clear. You come at Caitlin Clark with foul intentions, you're going to get met with equal and very physical consequences. And she'll do it all with a grin that practically screams, "Try me again," and you'll leave this game emotionally and physically rearranged. This is the Sophie Cunningham era now. If Caitlin's the face of the league's future, then Sophie is the full access clearance with a zero tolerance policy. Think you're gonna build your reputation off a dirty shot? Good luck doing it while twisted into a yoga pose you didn't sign up for. Because Sophie's got no problem turning highlight reels into chiropractic cases. She's the enforcer, the boundary, the one-woman warning label the league didn't know it needed. And now, the WNBA just got a whole lot more unpredictable and a whole lot more fun, because Sophie Cunningham doesn't make suggestions. She delivers statements. Bold, brutal, unmistakable, and the message is simple. Caitlin Clark is off limits because Sophie said so. And if you've got an issue with that, you better grab a mouth guard, say your prayers, and brace for impact, because Sophie's coming, and she's bringing the storm.